The alien armada that came for Earth, and they were destroyed before Mars came into viewport. 5. The message 1 week after the battle. Admiral Park Do-hyun stood in the debris field where the alien fleet had died. His small ship floated among the wreckage. Twisted metal. Burned hulls. The frozen bodies of alien soldiers drifting in the void. He had asked to come here. He needed to see it with his own eyes. "Admiral," Lieutenant Kim Yuna said from beside him, "we are receiving the broadcast signal. It is about to begin." Do-hyun nodded. "Put it on the main screen." The screen lit up. It showed a room on Earth, the United Nations building in New York, rebuilt after the first burning. World leaders sat in a circle. Watching something. At the center of the room stood the alien commander, now a prisoner. His gray skin was pale. His 6 arms were bound. Guards stood on either side of him. He looked broken and small. President Park Min-ha of Korea stood at a podium. She was 70 years old with white hair and a calm voice. She had been chosen to speak for all of humanity. "Today," she said, "we sent a message to the galaxy. 1 week ago, an alien armada entered our solar system. 12,000 warships came to destroy Earth. They came to burn our cities. They came to murder our people. They thought we were weak. They thought we would be easy prey." She paused. The room was silent. They were wrong. Our fleet met them at the edge of the asteroid belt. In less than 1 day, we destroyed their entire armada. 12,000 ships burned. 3 million alien soldiers died. Not a single enemy vessel reached Mars. The battle was over before they even saw our home. The image changed to show footage of the battle. Railguns firing. Ships exploding. The alien fleet falling apart under human attack. Do-hyun watched with quiet pride. He had helped make this happen. His warning had given the fleet time to prepare. President Park continued. "The commander of this fleet now stands before you. He will face trial for crimes against humanity. He will answer for what his people did 300 years ago. And he will serve as an example to everyone in the galaxy." She turned to look directly at the camera. Her eyes were hard as stone. "For 3 centuries, humanity hid its strength. We built ships in secret. We trained soldiers in the darkness. We created weapons that the galaxy has never seen. We did this because we learned an important lesson when we were attacked. The lesson was simple. Trust no one. Prepare for everything. And when enemies come, show no mercy." She raised her hand and pointed at the camera. "This message is for every species in the galaxy. Every empire. Every alliance. Every civilization that looks at Earth and sees prey. You are wrong. We are not prey. We are not victims. We are humans. We survived one extinction event. We will survive any other. And anyone who threatens our world will face the same fate as this armada." The image changed again. It showed the human fleet in formation. 8,000 warships, flying together in perfect order. They were beautiful and terrible. A wall of death waiting for the next enemy. "This is our fleet," President Park said. "And this is only a fraction of our true strength. We have weapons hidden across the solar system. We have soldiers ready to fight. We have the will to destroy anyone who threatens us. Remember this. Earth is not a target. Earth is a fortress. And it will never fall." She paused. Then she spoke one final sentence. "Earth remembers. Earth waits. Earth wins." The broadcast ended. The screen went dark. Do-hyun stood in silence for a long moment. Outside his ship, the debris field stretched for millions of kilometers. All that remained of an army that had come to destroy his world. "Admiral," Yuna said, "the broadcast is being sent across all known communication channels. Every species in the galaxy will receive it within days." "Good," Do-hyun said. Let them know. Let them all know. He thought about his grandmother. She had told him stories about the first burning. She had told him about the fear, the pain, the death. She had made him promise to always be ready, to never let it happen again. He had kept that promise. "Admiral," Una said, "I have a question. Ask it. Do you think they will come again? Other species, I mean. Do you think they will try to attack Earth?" Do-hyun was silent for a moment. Then he spoke. "Some will. There are always those who think they can win, who think they are stronger than everyone else. They will look at Earth and see a challenge. They will come with their fleets and their weapons. They will try to do what these aliens failed to do." He turned to face Una. His eyes were calm but fierce. "And when they come, we will be ready. We will destroy them just like we destroyed these invaders. Again and again, until the galaxy understands. Earth is not to be touched. Humanity is not to be challenged. We are the most dangerous species in the galaxy because we never give up. We never surrender. We never stop fighting." Una nodded slowly. "I understand, Admiral. Good. Now let us go home. We have work to do." The small ship turned away from the debris field and flew toward the inner solar system. Behind it, the remains of the alien fleet floated in the darkness, a monument to the price of attacking Earth. Months later, reports came from the edge of the galaxy. The alien species that had sent the Armada was in chaos. Their government had collapsed. Their military was in disgrace. Other species were attacking them, taking their territory. They had been the strongest power in their region. Now they were nothing. The message had worked. The galaxy had seen what happened to those who threatened Earth. Fear spread across the stars. Species that had looked at humanity as prey now looked at them with terror. Some said humans were monsters. Some said they were too violent, too dangerous. Some called for alliances to destroy Earth before it destroyed everyone else. But no one came. No fleets gathered. No armadas launched. Every species that thought about attacking Earth remembered the broadcast. They remembered the image of 12,000 ships burning. They remembered the words of President Park. Earth remembers. Earth wakes. Earth wins. On Earth, life continued. People went to work. Children went to school. Families ate dinner together. They lived in peace because soldiers like Do-hyun and Sujin and Yoonji and Hyok had fought for them. They lived in safety because humanity had finally shown its true strength. Admiral Park Do-hyun retired 5 years after the battle. He moved to a small village in the mountains of Korea, not far from where his grandmother had hidden during the first burning. He grew vegetables. He watched the stars at night. Sometimes he talked to the local children and told them stories about space. One evening, a young girl asked him a question. "Admiral, were you ever scared? During the battle, I mean. Were you afraid you would lose?" Do-hyun looked up at the stars. They were bright and beautiful, as they always were. "Yes," he said. "I was scared. Only a fool is not scared when death comes near. But I did not let the fear control me. I used it. I turned it into strength. That is what humans do. We take our pain and our fear and our anger, and we turn them into power. That is why we won. Not because we had better ships or better weapons, but because we wanted to win more than the enemy wanted to destroy us." The girl thought about this for a moment. Then she smiled. "I want to be like you when I grow up," she said. "I want to protect Earth." Do-hyun smiled back. "Then study hard. Train your body and your mind. And never forget what we are fighting for. We are fighting for each other. For our families. For our world. As long as we remember that, we will never lose." The girl nodded and ran off to play with her friends. Do-hyun watched her go. Then he looked up at the stars again. Somewhere out there, Other species were watching Earth. They were waiting. They were wondering if humanity was really as dangerous as they seemed. Let them wonder, Dohyun thought. Let them fear. Because if they ever forget, if they ever think we are weak again, we will remind them. Just as we reminded this Armada. Earth remembers. Earth waits, and Earth will always win. The alien Armada that came for Earth, and they were destroyed before Mars came into viewport. 4. The Annihilation Commander Yoon Soo-jin stood on the bridge of her battleship, the Iron Dawn. She was 45 years old with sharp features and cold eyes. Her uniform was black, like the space around her. She had commanded ships for 20 years. She had fought pirates. She had destroyed rebels. But this was her first real war, and she intended to win it completely. Status report, she ordered. Commander, enemy fleet has been reduced to approximately 1,800 vessels. They are clustered near asteroid KR447. They appear to be trying to repair their ships and reorganize. Soo-jin studied the tactical display. The aliens were surrounded. Her forces controlled every direction. There was nowhere for them to run. What about their flagship? Still active, Commander. It is in the center of their formation. Heavy damage to the hull, but its weapons are still online. Good. I want that ship. I want their commander alive if possible. Her first officer looked at her. Alive, Commander? After what they did to Earth 300 years ago. Soo-jin smiled, but it was not a kind smile. Dead enemies become martyrs. Living enemies become examples. I want the galaxy to see their commander on trial. I want everyone to know that attacking Earth means punishment. Understood, Commander. Soo-jin opened a channel to the other ships in her strike group. 500 of the best warships in the human fleet, all under her command. All ships, this is Commander Yoon. The enemy is cornered. They are wounded. They are scared. But they are not dead yet. Our mission is to finish this. We will advance in formation Delta 7. Target their larger ships first. Leave the flagship for last. No one escapes. No one surrenders. Today, we show the galaxy what human justice looks like. Execute. The human fleet moved forward like a wall of death. On the alien flagship, chaos ruled. Fires burned in dozens of sections. Half the crew was dead. Systems failed one after another. The great ship that had destroyed worlds was dying. The commander sat on his throne, watching his tactical display with empty eyes. His fleet was gone. His mission was a failure. Everything he had worked for was turning to ash. Grade 1, an officer said. The humans are advancing. Over 500 warships coming directly at us. Can we fight? Our weapons are at 30% power. Our shields are failing. We have no chance. The commander was silent for a long moment. Then he made a decision that surprised everyone. Open a channel to the human fleet. Great One? Do it. The channel opened. The commander spoke into it, his voice tired and broken. Human Commander, this is the leader of the invasion fleet. I wish to discuss terms of surrender. There was silence. Then a woman's voice answered. This is Commander Yoon Soo-jin of the Earth Defense Force. You want to surrender? Yes. I offer myself and my remaining ships. In exchange, you will allow my soldiers to live. They will become your prisoners. You can do with me what you wish, but spare my people. Another pause. Then Soo-jin laughed. It was a harsh sound, like metal scraping metal. You came here to kill us. You came to burn our world and murder our families. Now you ask for mercy? Please. My soldiers were only following orders. They do not deserve to die. Tell me, Soo-jin said. 300 years ago, when your species attacked Earth, did you give mercy to our people? Did you spare the children in the cities you burned? Did you listen when they begged for their lives? The commander said nothing. He remembered those days. His people had been ruthless. They had killed everyone. Men, women, children. They had showed no mercy at all. I did not think so, Sujin continued. You taught us something important that day. You taught us that the galaxy is cruel. You taught us that mercy is weakness. You taught us that when enemies come to your home, you destroy them completely. Please. I am sorry, but I cannot give you mercy. Not because I am cruel, but because I remember. Humanity remembers. Every death. Every burning city. Every child who never grew up. We remember all of it. And today, we collect the dead. The channel closed. All ships, Sujin ordered. Fire. The final attack began. 500 human warships opened fire at once. Beams of energy cut through space. Missiles flew in swarms. Railgun rounds punched through armor like it was paper. The remaining alien ships died quickly. One by one, they exploded. Their crews never had a chance. The humans targeted bridges and engine rooms first, killing command staff and preventing escape. Then they finished off the rest. Sujin watched without emotion. She had studied history. She knew what the aliens had done to Earth. She had seen the pictures, the videos, the records. Cities turned to glass. Rivers boiling from heat. People running and screaming as fire fell from the sky. Her own great-grandmother had been on Earth during the first burning. She had been 7 years old. She survived by hiding in a cave for 3 months. When she came out, everyone she knew was dead. Sujin thought about that little girl as she watched the alien fleet burn. This was for her. This was for everyone who had suffered. This was justice, 300 years delayed. Commander, her officer reported, only the flagship remains. Its shields are down. Its weapons are offline. It is completely helpless. Move us closer. I want to see it. The Iron Dawn flew toward the enemy flagship. Up close, it was massive. 3 kilometers long, covered in weapons and armor. Once, it had been terrifying. Now it was just a corpse waiting to die. Open a channel to the flagship, Sujin ordered. Channel open, Commander. Alien Commander, your fleet is destroyed. Your ships are burning around you. You have nothing left. I offer you one chance. Open your airlocks and surrender your crew. You have 10 minutes. If you refuse, I will destroy your ship and everyone on it. Silence for a moment. Then the alien commander spoke. You would accept our surrender? I will take you alive to stand trial for crimes against humanity. Your crew will be imprisoned. Some of you may eventually be returned to your people. This is more mercy than you deserve, but I am offering it anyway. 10 minutes. Choose. Sujin waited. Around her, the human fleet surrounded the flagship. Weapons were locked and ready. If the aliens tried anything, they would be destroyed instantly. After 5 minutes, the flagship's airlocks opened. Small figures began floating out into space. Alien soldiers surrendering. They drifted toward the human ships with their hands raised. Commander, her officer said, the enemy crews evacuating. Shall we collect them? Yes, put them in the holding cells. Make sure they are treated properly. They are prisoners, not animals. Yes, Commander. One by one, the alien soldiers were collected. Transport ships moved among them, gathering survivors. It took 2 hours to clear the flagship completely. Finally, the alien commander himself was brought aboard the Iron Dawn. He was tall and gray, with tired eyes that had seen defeat. Guards led him to the bridge, where Sujin waited. They stood face to face. Human and alien. Victor and vanquished. You fought well, the alien commander said. Better than we expected. Better than anyone in the galaxy would expect. We had 300 years to prepare, Sujin replied. You gave us the time when you attacked us and left us alive. That was your mistake. Yes, I understand that now. We thought you were weak. We thought you would never be a threat. And now? The commander looked at her with something like respect. Now I understand why the old stories called your kind dangerous. You never forget. You never forgive. And you never stop fighting. Sujin nodded. Remember that when you stand trial. Remember it when you tell your people what happened here. Humanity is not prey. We are predators. And today, we have proven it. She turned to her guards. Take him to the cells. Treat him well. He has much to tell us about his people. The guards led the commander away. Sujin looked out the window at the debris field that had once been an invasion fleet. 12,000 ships, now scattered wreckage. The largest military defeat in galactic history. And it had happened before the aliens even saw Mars. Commander, her officer said, what are your orders? Sujin thought for a moment. Collect all survivors. Gather all debris. I want samples of their technology. Then prepare a message for broadcast. The galaxy needs to know what happened here. What message, Commander? Sujin looked at the distant sun. Somewhere out there, Earth was safe. Her family was safe. All of humanity was safe because of what they had done today. Tell them, she said, that Earth is not alone anymore. Tell them that humanity has woken up. And tell them that anyone who threatens our world will face the same fate. Her officer nodded and began working. The battle was over. The war was won. But the message was just beginning. The alien armada that came for Earth, and they were destroyed before Mars came into viewport. 3. The ambush, the alien armada crossed into the outer solar system with confidence. They had conquered 100 worlds before this one. They had destroyed species older and more advanced than humans. To them, Earth was just another meal. Another civilization to crush and consume. Their commander, whose name could not be spoken in human language, sat on his throne in the flagship. He was large, with gray skin and 6 arms. His eyes were cold and empty like the space around him. He had led fleets for 300 of his species' years. He had never known defeat. Report, he commanded. Grade 1, his officer said. We are approaching the asteroid belt. No resistance detected. The human species appears to have no significant space presence. The commander made a sound that was like laughter. As expected. They are primitive. They probably still fight with their hands. Our scouts report some small stations around their outer planets. Mining operations. Nothing military. Destroy them when we pass. Leave no witnesses. Yes, Great One. The commander looked at the image of Earth on his screen. A blue and green world, full of life, full of resources. His species needed those resources. They had used up their own worlds. Now they took from others. This was the way of the universe. The strong survived. The weak died. Humans were weak. So humans would die. He did not know that at this very moment. He was surrounded by death. Sergeant Bei Yunji sat in her gunship, floating in the darkness near Jupiter. Her ship was called the Silent Knife. It was small, only 12 crew members, but it carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon. She had been waiting here for 16 hours. Her ship was powered down, running on minimal life support. To any scanner, it looked like a piece of space debris. Just another rock floating in the void. But inside that rock, 24 railgun barrels waited to fire. Inside that rock, Yunji and her crew watched the enemy fleet approach. They are passing Jupiter now, her sensor operator whispered. Main fleet is still in formation. They have not detected us. Yunji nodded. Her hands were steady on the controls. She had trained for this moment for 10 years. Every simulation, every drill, every sleepless night. It all led to this. Any signal from command? She asked. Nothing yet. We wait. So they waited. Around them, invisible in the darkness, were hundreds of other ships like theirs. Small attack craft, gunships, bombers, all hidden, all waiting. The alien fleet passed Jupiter and continued toward the asteroid belt. They moved in perfect formation, 12,000 ships flying as one. From far away, they looked like a river of light flowing through the darkness. They did not see the weapons, platforms hidden among the asteroids ahead. They did not see the mines floating in their path. They did not see the human fleet waiting behind them, cutting off any escape. Then the signal came. All units, Captain Choi Hyok's voice said over the secure channel. Execute. Everything happened at once. The asteroid belt came alive with fire. Hidden railgun platforms opened up, launching metal projectiles at incredible speed. Each projectile was the size of a car and traveled at 1% of the speed of light. When they hit, they did not explode. They simply punched through enemy ships, like fingers through paper. The first wave of fire destroyed over 1,000 alien ships in less than 10 seconds. Unji slammed, her controls forward. The Silent Knife's engines roared to life. Around her, hundreds of other small ships did the same. They rose from their hiding places like ghosts and flew straight at the enemy fleet. Weapons free, Unji shouted. Fire everything. Her railguns opened up. Streams of metal death poured from her ship. She aimed at an enemy cruiser and watched it break apart under her fire. Then she moved to the next target. And the next, the aliens were in chaos. They had expected no resistance. Now they were being attacked from all sides. Ships exploded everywhere. Fire and debris filled the space around them. This is impossible. The alien commander screamed on his bridge. Where did they come from? Great One, we're detecting thousands of enemy vessels. They were hidden among the asteroids. Our sensors never saw them. Fight back. Destroy them. The alien fleet tried to organize. Some ships returned fire. Their weapons were powerful, and several human ships were destroyed. But for every human ship lost, 10 alien ships died. The railgun platforms kept firing. Each shot was perfectly calculated. Each shot hit its target. The platforms were controlled by advanced computers that could predict enemy movement. The aliens could not dodge. They could not hide. Great One, an officer shouted. We must retreat. We are losing too many ships. The commander stared at his tactical display. It was covered in red. So many ships destroyed. So many soldiers dead. How was this possible? How could primitive humans do this? Prepare for fold space jump, he ordered. All ships retreat. Yes, Great One. The remaining alien ships tried to activate their fold space drives. These were the engines that allowed them to travel between stars instantly. They would use them to escape this trap, but nothing happened. Great One, fold space drives are not working. Something is blocking them. What? That is impossible. Find the source and destroy it. But they could not find the source. The fold space jammers were hidden too well. They were spread across thousands of asteroids, each one too small to detect. Together, they created a field that prevented any fold space travel within billions of kilometers. The aliens were trapped. EUNG flew through the battle, their ship moving with deadly grace. She wove between enemy fire and destroyed everything in her path. Her crew worked together perfectly. Years of training had made them a single unit, a single killing machine. Sergeant, her gunner shouted. Enemy destroyer on our left. I see it. Bringing us around. She turned the silent knife hard. The destroyer filled her view. It was huge compared to her small gunship. Its weapons turned toward her, ready to fire. Yunji did not hesitate. She pushed the engines to maximum and flew straight at the destroyer's bridge. At the last moment, she fired all her weapons and pulled away. The bridge exploded. The destroyer went dark and began to drift. "Target destroyed," her gunner reported. "Find the next one." The battle continued for 3 hours. The humans hunted the aliens through the asteroid belt. Every time an enemy ship tried to hide, sensors found it. Every time an enemy ship tried to run, faster human ships caught it. The alien commander watched his fleet die around him. 8,000 ships destroyed. Then 9,000. Then 10,000. His mighty armada was being cut to pieces by these primitive creatures he had come to destroy. "How?" he whispered. "How is this possible?" His officer looked at him with terror in his many eyes. "Great One, they were ready for us. They knew we were coming. They have been preparing for this for centuries." The commander understood then. He understood that his people had made a terrible mistake 300 years ago. They had attacked Earth and thought they had won. They had left the humans alive, thinking they were no threat. They had given humanity time to prepare, and humanity had used that time well. "Great One," an officer said, "we have received a transmission from the human fleet." "Play it." A human voice filled the bridge. It was Captain Choi Hyok. "Attention, alien fleet. You came to our world to kill us. You came to burn our cities and murder our children. You thought we would be easy prey. You were wrong. Today you will learn what happens to those who threaten Earth. Today you will die. And your death will serve as a message to everyone in the galaxy. Humanity is not prey. Humanity is not weak. Humanity fights back." The transmission ended. The alien commander looked at what remained of his fleet. Less than 2,000 ships, all damaged. All surrounded. There was no escape. There was no mercy. In the silence of space, the slaughter continued. The alien armada that came for Earth, and they were destroyed before Mars came into viewport. 2. The response deep beneath the mountains of Korea. There was a room that did not exist on any map. It was called the Iron Chamber. Only 7 people in the world knew about it. The walls were made of metal 3 meters thick. The air was cold and dry. Hundreds of screens covered every surface, showing images from across the solar system. Defense Minister Lee Ji-won stood in the center of the room. She was 61 years old, with white hair cut short and eyes like black stones. She had spent her entire life preparing for this moment. Now it was here. "Show me the fleet," she said. A massive holographic display appeared before her. 12,000 alien ships moving in formation toward Earth. They were beautiful in a terrible way. Each ship was shaped like a blade, long and thin and deadly. They reflected the distant light of the sun like dark mirrors. "Time to Earth?" Ji-won asked. 68 hours, Minister," answered General Oh Byung-hun. He was the commander of all human military forces. A big man with a scarred face and calm voice. He had fought in 3 border conflicts in the outer colonies. He had never lost. Ji-won studied the enemy formation. "They are not trying to hide. They want us to see them coming. They want us to be afraid," Byung-hun agreed. "Are you afraid, General?" Byung-hun smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "I am excited, Minister. I have been waiting for this fight my whole life." Ji-won nodded. She understood. Every person in this room felt the same way. For 300 years, humanity had lived with the memory of the first burning. For 300 years, they had been preparing. "Activate Protocol Sunfire," Ji-won ordered. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. But it was not humanity's death. It was the death of anyone foolish enough to attack Earth. Protocol Sunfire activated. A technician confirmed. Across the solar system. things began to happen. Near Jupiter, asteroids that had floated peacefully for centuries suddenly came to life. Their surfaces opened like flowers, revealing massive weapons underneath. Railguns the size of buildings. Missile platforms carrying nuclear warheads. Lasers that could cut a ship in half from 1,000,000 kilometers away. In the asteroid belt, what looked like mining stations transformed into military bases. Thousands of soldiers woke from cryogenic sleep. Ships that had been hidden inside hollowed-out rocks launched into space around Saturn and its moons. An entire fleet appeared. 2,000 warships, each one built for one purpose: destruction. They had been waiting here for over a century, maintained by robots, ready for the day they would be needed. And on Mars, the greatest weapon of all began to wake up. Captain Choi Hyok stood on the bridge of his ship. The burning sky. It was a carrier vessel, one of the largest in the human fleet. Inside its hull were 500 fighter craft and 10,000 soldiers. Hyok had commanded this ship for 15 years. He knew every corner of it. He loved it like a member of his family. "Captain," his first officer said, "all stations report ready. The fleet is assembling at Point Delta. How many ships?" Hyok asked. "Current count is 4,200. More are arriving every minute." Hyok looked at the tactical display. Ships were appearing from hiding places all over the outer solar system. From inside moons. From beneath the ice of distant planets. From clouds of gas and dust where no one would think to look. For centuries, humanity had been building in secret. Every year, a few more ships. A few more weapons. A few more soldiers. The galaxy thought humans were weak because they never showed their strength. They never started wars. They never threatened anyone. That was the plan. Let everyone think humanity was harmless. Let them forget about the people of Earth. And when the time came, show them the truth. The truth was that humanity had become the most dangerous species in the galaxy. "Open a channel to all ships," Hyok ordered. "Channel open, Captain." Hyok took a breath. He thought about his wife and children on Earth. He thought about his parents, his grandparents. He thought about all the people who had died in the first burning, whose names were written on monuments in every city. "This is Captain Choi Hyok of the Burning Sky," he said. 300 years ago, we were victims. We were prey. Aliens came to our world and tried to destroy us. They almost succeeded. But we survived. We rebuilt. We grew strong." He paused. Every ship in the fleet was listening. "Today, we are no longer prey. Today, we are hunters. An enemy fleet is approaching our home. They think they will burn our cities again. They think they will kill our families. They think we are the same weak species they attacked 3 centuries ago." Hyok smiled grimly. "They are wrong. Today, we will show them what humans have become. Today, we will make them understand that Earth is not a target. Earth is a trap. And they have walked right into it." Across the fleet, soldiers cheered. In the fighter bays, pilots climbed into their craft. On weapon platforms, gunners loaded ammunition. In engine rooms, engineers pushed reactors to maximum power. The human war machine was coming to life. Back in the ion chamber, Minister Lee Ji-won watched the fleet assemble. Thousands of ships, millions of soldiers. It was the largest military force in human history. "Minister," General Beamhan said, "the enemy fleet is maintaining course and speed. They have not changed their formation. They have not noticed us yet?" "No, Minister. Our ships are still running silent. We are invisible to their sensors." Ji-won nodded. That was the other part of the plan. Humanity had not only built weapons, they had also developed technology to hide those weapons. Stealth systems that could make a battleship look like an asteroid. Signal blockers that could silence an entire fleet. The aliens had no idea what was waiting for them. What about their scouts? Ji-Wan asked. We have been tracking 3 scout ships ahead of the main fleet. They are scanning the outer planets. So far, they have not detected anything unusual. Make sure they continue to see nothing. I want the enemy completely surprised. Yes, Minister. The hours passed. The alien fleet moved closer. The human fleet grew larger. Ships continued to emerge from hiding places throughout the solar system. The final count was over 8,000 vessels. Ji-Wan received reports from all sectors. The railgun platforms were ready. The missile bases were armed. The fighter squadrons were prepared for launch. And on Mars, the secret weapon was almost online. She looked at a picture on her desk. It showed a young woman with a bright smile. Her daughter, who lived in Bazan with her husband and 2 children. Ji-Wan had not seen them in 3 years. Her work kept her in the iron chamber, watching the stars. But she did this work for them. For her daughter. For her grandchildren. For every human being on Earth who deserved to live in peace. The aliens wanted to take that peace away. They wanted to burn and kill and destroy. Ji-Wan would not let them. General, she said, when we engage the enemy, I want no survivors. Byung-hun looked at her. Minister, you heard me. No survivors. Not one ship. Not one soldier. I want them completely destroyed. And I want everyone in the galaxy to know what happened to them. Byung-hun nodded slowly. Understood, Minister. Good. Now let us welcome our guests. The alien armada continued its approach, unaware that it was flying toward its death. In the darkness between planets, humanity's fleet waited like wolves in the night. The hunt was about to begin. The alien armada that came for Earth, and they were destroyed before Mars came into viewport. 1. The warning: the darkness of space was cold and empty. Far beyond Neptune, where the sun looked like just another star, a small station floated in silence. It was called Listening Post 7. Only 12 people worked there. Their job was simple but important. They watched the edge of the solar system. They listened for anything strange. Admiral Park Do-yoon was the commander of this station. He was 53 years old, with gray hair and tired eyes. He had served in the Space Defense Force for 30 years. Most people thought his job was boring. Nothing ever happened at the edge of the solar system. But Do-yoon knew better. He knew that one day, something would come. That day was today. Lieutenant Kim Yuna sat at her console. She was young, only 26, with sharp eyes and quick hands. She was the best sensor operator in the fleet. That was why they sent her here, to the most distant human outpost. Sir, she said. Her voice was calm, but her hands were shaking. I have something. Do-hyun walked to her station. What is it? Fold space disturbance. Big one. She pointed at her screen. Numbers and lines moved across it. Very big. Do-hyun felt his heart beat faster. Fold space was how ships traveled between stars. Humans had learned to detect when something used fold space to enter the solar system. They had been watching for 200 years. In all that time, they had only seen small disturbances. Scout ships, probes, nothing serious. This was different. How big? Do-hyun asked. Yuna's face went pale. Sir, the readings are off the charts. I think there are thousands of ships. The room went quiet. The other 10 crew members stopped what they were doing. They all looked at Yuna's screen. Do-hyun took a deep breath. Give me exact numbers. Yuna worked her console. Her fingers flew across the controls. 12,416 vessels. They emerged near the Kuiper Belt, about 4 billion kilometers from here. They are moving toward the inner solar system. Speed? Fast, very fast. At their current speed, they will reach Earth in approximately 72 hours. 72 hours. 3 days. That was all the time humanity had. Do-hyun walked to the main window. Outside, there was only darkness and distant stars. Somewhere out there, an army was coming. An army that wanted to destroy everything he loved, but he was not afraid. He smiled. "Send the alert to Earth," he said. "Priority Alpha. Tell them the guests have arrived." Yuna looked at him with confusion. "Sir, shouldn't we be worried?" 12,000 ships. Do-hyun turned to face his crew. They all looked scared. They had every right to be. But they did not know what he knew. 300 years ago, Do-hyun said, aliens came to Earth for the first time. They burned our cities. They killed billions of people. We were weak then. We had no ships, no weapons that could fight them. We were like children fighting adults. He walked slowly around the room, looking at each crew member. But we survived. We rebuilt. And we made a promise. Never again. Never again would humanity be weak. Never again would we be surprised. Never again would we lose. He stopped at the communication console. For 3 centuries, we have been preparing. We built ships in secret. We hid weapons in asteroids. We trained soldiers in the darkness between planets. The galaxy thinks we are still weak. They think we are still those frightened people from 300 years ago. Do-hyun pressed a button on the console. A holographic map appeared in the center of the room. It showed the entire solar system. Red dots appeared in thousands of places. Hidden bases. Secret fleets. Weapons platforms disguised as space rocks. "They are wrong," Do-hyun said. "Send the message." Yuna nodded and began typing. The message would travel at the speed of light. It would reach Earth in about 4 hours. But other stations closer to the inner planets would receive it sooner. The chain of command would activate. While she worked, Do-hyun watched the enemy fleet on the sensors. The ships were massive. Each one was bigger than anything humanity had built. Their technology was advanced. Their weapons were powerful. But Do-hyun had learned something important in his 30 years of service. Size did not matter. Technology did not matter. What mattered was will. What mattered was the desire to survive at any cost. Humans had that. They had more of it than any other species in the galaxy. "Message sent, sir," Yuna reported. "Good. Now we wait." The hours passed slowly. The crew watched the enemy fleet move closer. The ships traveled in perfect formation. They looked like a swarm of insects moving through the darkness. Yuna studied the ships carefully. "Sir, I am detecting communication signals between the enemy vessels. They are talking to each other. Can you understand them?" "No, sir. The language is unknown, but the pattern suggests they are confident. They are not expecting resistance." Don nodded. "Good. Let them be confident. Confidence makes people careless." One of the younger crew members, a man named Han Tiemann, spoke up. "Sir, do you really think we can win? There are so many of them." Do-hyun looked at the young man. He saw fear in his eyes, but he also saw hope. "Let me tell you a story," Do-hyun said. "When I was a boy, my grandmother told me about the first burning. She was there when the aliens came. She watched Seoul burn. She lost her parents, her brothers, her sisters. Everyone she loved. The room was silent. But she survived. She hid in the mountains for 2 years, eating roots and drinking rainwater. When the aliens left, she came down. She found other survivors. Together, they rebuilt. My grandmother was one of the people who designed the first human warship. She said something to me before she died. She said, 'Do-hyun, humans are like fire. You can try to put us out, but we always come back. And when we come back, we burn brighter than before.'" Do-hyun pointed at the red dots on the holographic map. "This is our fire. 300 years of anger. 300 years of preparation. Those aliens out there have no idea what is coming for them. The crew looked at each other. The fear in their eyes was still there, but now there was something else. Pride. Determination. Now, Do-hyun said, let us do our job. Keep watching. Report everything. The fleet will need our information. The crew returned to their stations. They worked with new energy. They were no longer just observers. They were part of something bigger. They were part of humanity's revenge. The alien armada continued its approach. The ships moved like predators, hunting prey. They had destroyed 100 worlds before. They expected Earth to be easy. They were wrong. In the darkness of space, humanity was waking up. And it was hungry for war.